Good evening, my friend, and welcome to your guided sleep story. My name is Rachel, and it is my privilege to be the voice you hear tonight as you gently fall asleep. When our story ends, soft sounds and music will continue, so they can stay with you a little longer while you rest. If you'd like the video to stop sooner, you can use YouTube Sleep Timer, and turning off autoplay will keep your night peaceful. If you haven't already, I'd truly appreciate it if you subscribed and gave this video a gentle thumbs up. But now, this is your time. Time to let go. Time to rest. Make yourself comfortable. Notice the softness beneath you. Feel the gentle warmth around you. Take a slow breath in through your nose and release it gently through your mouth. With every inhale, calm energy flows into you. With every exhale, you let go of everything heavy. Your shoulders soften. Your arms and legs grow heavy. Your whole body loosens. Gratitude may rise in your heart for a moment today, for someone you love, or simply for being here now. Imagine a soft mist around you, the world fading into quiet. You are floating on a cloud, safe, weightless, and carried gently into the night. And this is where your story begins. In the quiet hours between dusk and dawn, when the world holds its breath and dreams begin to stir, there exists a profession that has been forgotten by most of humanity. They are called memory weavers, and their work is both ancient and essential. Maya discovered she was a memory weaver on her 35th birthday. Not through any grand revelation, but through the gentle recognition that she had always been different. While others collected photographs and souvenirs to remember their experiences, Maya found that memories came to her like seeds on the wind. Not just her own, but fragments of moments that belonged to others. The realization came to her as she sat in her small apartment, surrounded by moving boxes. After years of working in corporate consulting, she had decided to leave the city and return to her grandmother's cottage in the countryside. As she packed, each object she touched seemed to whisper stories. Not just of her own life, but of all the hands that had held them before. The cottage sat at the end of a winding path, bordered by lavender and rosemary. It was smaller than Maya remembered from childhood visits, but somehow more alive. The walls seemed to hum with contentment, and the windows caught light in ways that defied the laws of physics, casting rainbow patterns on the worn wooden floors. It was while exploring the root cellar that Maya found her grandmother's journal, wrapped in oiled cloth and hidden behind jars of preserves that seemed untouched by time. The leather-bound book felt warm in her hands, and as she opened it, words appeared on the pages, as if written by an invisible hand. To my granddaughter, who has finally come home to her calling, the garden awaits you, as it has awaited all the women of our line. What you think is memory loss in our family is actually memory overflow. We are the keepers of moments, too precious to let fade away. Behind the cottage, Maya discovered a garden unlike any she had ever seen. At first glance, it appeared to be an ordinary vegetable and herb garden, with neat rows of plants and winding gravel paths. But as she looked closer, she realized that each plant seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly quality. Her grandmother's journal explained what she was seeing. This was the memory garden, where memory weavers cultivated and tended to the moments that people had lost or forgotten. Each plant contained clusters of memories, some as fragile as soap bubbles, others as sturdy as river stones. The tomato vines held summer afternoons from childhoods around the world. The lavender bushes contained lullabies, synthetic who had passed away. The herb spiral near the center of the garden grew thick with the scent of first kisses, wedding days, and quiet moments of contentment that had slipped away from their owners over the years. Maya spent her first week in the cottage learning to tend the garden. The work was intuitive, requiring not physical tools, but a gentle opening of the heart and mind. She learned to recognize which memories were ready to be returned to their owners, and which needed more time to mature in the rich soil of the garden. Some memories came to her in dreams. She would see flashes of unfamiliar faces, hear conversations in languages she didn't speak, feel emotions that weren't her own. These were the memories that people had lost, not to illness or age, but to the simple overwhelm of daily life. They were the moments that had fallen through the cracks of busy schedules and endless responsibilities. Her first successful weaving was a simple one. She found herself drawn to a patch of mint near the garden gate, where a memory of a woman's first apartment hung like morning dew on the leaves. It was a moment of quiet pride. Keys turning in a lock, sunlight streaming through clean windows. The feeling of being truly independent for the first time. As the weeks passed, Maya discovered that she was not alone in her work. Other memory weavers around the world were connected through dreams and synchronicities. She began to receive memories that didn't originate in her own area. Fragments of moments from distant cities, foreign countries, even different time periods. There was Chen, a memory weaver in Shanghai, who specialized in childhood memories involving food. The taste of his grandmother's dumplings, the smell of street vendors' carts, the joy of sharing meals with family. His garden grew thick with herbs and vegetables that held the essence of comfort and nourishment. In Sao Paulo, there was Esperanza, whose garden was filled with memories of music and dancing. She tended to moments of celebration, first dances, concerts that changed lives, and quiet instances of humming while doing everyday tasks. And in a small town in Ireland, there was Siobhan, whose garden specialized in memories of rain. Not just the physical sensation, but the emotional states that rain could bring. Cozy afternoons spent reading by windows, the relief of farmers watching drought break, the romantic meetings of lovers under shared umbrellas. After 1.2, this isn't Black Platter 1.2 for Fort today. What respect the Peel of Cattegot, the reventing rept by father? She watered with a lifetime and a lifetime at Von the Collet of death. The steadiers gotten to provide her as well. Once a month, during the new moon, memory weavers around the world participated in what they called the Great Returning. It was a night when the veil between memory and reality grew thin. allowing them to send collected memories back to their rightful owners. Through dreams and moments of quiet reflection, Maya's first great returning was unlike anything she had ever experienced. As midnight approached, she walked through her garden, gathering memories that had reached full maturity. Each one felt different in her hands. Some light as feathers, others dense with emotion. All of them precious beyond measure. She began with the simple ones. A child's delight at seeing their first snowfall. Now ready to return to a man in his 70s, who had forgotten the wonder of his youth. A grandmother's advice, ripe and ready to find its way back to a woman struggling with a difficult decision. The feeling of a pet's unconditional love, prepared to comfort someone who had recently experienced loss. One evening in early autumn, as Maya was watering her garden by moonlight, she heard footsteps on the gravel path. She turned to see an elderly woman approaching her. Her silver hair gleaming in the lunar light. "You must be Maya," the woman said, her voice carrying the warmth of a familiar hearth. "I'm Iris. I was your grandmother's mentor, and her grandmother's before that." Iris had come to help Maya understand the deeper aspects of her gift. She explained that memory weavers didn't just tend to lost memories. They also helped create new ones. By cultivating an atmosphere of mindfulness and presence, they helped people form memories that would sustain them through difficult times. A memory is never just about the past, Iris explained. As they sat together in the garden, sharing tea, and watching fireflies dance among the plants. Every memory we tend becomes a seed for future hope. When someone receives back a moment of joy they had forgotten, it doesn't just return them to that past experience. It reminds them that such joy is possible again. As Maya's skills grew, she began to understand that her work was ultimately about healing. She learned to identify memories that carried trauma or pain. These needed special handling. Gentle processing in quiet corners of the garden. Where medicinal plants grew thick and protective. She discovered that some memories were ready to be transformed, rather than returned unchanged. A moment of childhood embarrassment could be softened with the wisdom of adult perspective. A memory of loss could be infused with gratitude for what had been shared. Painful experiences could be woven together with threads of resilience and growth. This aspect of the work required the most care and patience. Maya would spend hours with these tender memories. Humming softly to them. Surrounding them with the scent of healing herbs. Allowing them to slowly transform in the rich soil of compassion. Maya would spend hours with the skill. Maya's first year as a memory weaver. Taught her to follow the natural rhythms of the earth. spring was the time for planting new hope. Helping people form memories of fresh starts and new beginnings. Summer brought the cultivation of joy and abundance, tending to memories of celebration and achievement. Autumn was the season of harvest and reflection, when the most mature memories were ready to be returned to their owners. And winter was the time for rest and deep dreaming, when memory weavers would journey into the collective unconscious to gather the memories that had drifted furthest from their homes. During her first winter solstice as a memory weaver, Maya participated in the deep gathering. It was a practice that required entering a meditative state so profound that her consciousness could travel beyond the boundaries of individual minds and into the vast repository of human experience. As spring returned to the cottage, Maya realized that her year of training was coming to an end. She had mastered the basic skills of memory weaving and was ready to take on her first apprentice. The calling came, as it always did, through dreams and synchronicities. A young man named David began having vivid dreams of a garden filled with impossible plants. He started finding lost objects everywhere he went. Keys in soup bowls, wedding rings in library books, photographs tucked inside loaves of bread. And most techness, he began remembering things that had never happened to him. Glimpses of other people's lives that came to him with the clarity of his own experiences. As Maya tended her garden in the early morning light, she reflected on the year that had passed. She had learned that memory was not just the recording of experience, but the very fabric from which hope and healing were woven. Every moment of beauty she preserved. Every fragment of love she returned to its owner. Every traumatic memory she helped transform. All of it contributed to the great web of human connection and resilience. The garden around her hummed with contentment, heavy with memories waiting to find their way home. And in that gentle humming, Maya heard the eternal song of the memory weavers, a lullaby that had been sung since humans first learned to dream, and would continue until the last memory faded into starlight. She smiled, knowing that somewhere in the world, David was packing boxes and preparing to answer the call of a profession he didn't yet understand. The circle would continue, as it always had, as it always would, and in gardens around the world, other memory weavers were beginning their day's work, tending to the precious moments that make life worth living, ensuring that no experience of love or beauty would ever be truly lost.